Let's go out to San Antonio, Texas, and talk to Kendra. What's up, Kendra?
You're better than I deserve. How are you?
I'm partying. We are doing great. So what's up? How can I help?
I have a question about how to deal with survivor's guilt.
Ooh, what happened?
So I am a 10 on the ACEs score.
Holy smokes.
I came from a very, very abusive childhood.
Yeah.
My mother had a severe drug problem.
Okay.
It's myself and 3 other siblings, and I am currently...
Are you the one that made it?
Yes, I am 8,618 days sober.
Congratulations. Wow. Kendra. That's amazing.
But it's hard knowing that I am the only one that survived.
I know. Are your brothers and sisters still alive and hurting?
They're not. My sister Melissa OD'd in 99. My brother Josh OD'd in 2001. And I have another brother that OD'd in 2014.
Good God almighty. You guys lived in hell, didn't you?
We did.
What was your path out?
Determination. I was determined. When I was 15, I got pregnant with my son Luke. I ended up being shot when my son was 6. Bullet went through my leg, killed my son. That's when I broke my sobriety, because literally the day that my son died, I wanted to die.
Yeah.
I had a very, very lovely woman, his grandmother, who said, "Not on my watch. It's not going to go down like this." And she literally held me hostage for 3 days to get me clean again.
Oh, because you were heading out, huh?
I was done.
Yeah. You were heading out.
I've been sober ever since. She had a massive stroke about 2 years after I got clean. And I have pretty much, anytime I remotely think that life's not going the way it needs to, I hear that woman's voice in my head.
She's your guardian angel, isn't she?
She definitely is.
You may have heard me say this on the show, but there's a great conversation years ago with somebody who'd been to parts of the world where there was just mass slaughter of people, and they asked a pastor there, "How do you still believe in God with all of this death and destruction? And where's God in all this?" And the pastor looked at him kind of cold and said, "Oh, I stopped asking where's God a long time ago. I started asking where's God's people? When did they show up?" And I don't know if this person was religious or not, but this is one of those holy moments when somebody saw you and took you and said, "Not on my watch."
She was definitely religious. She was the most devout Catholic Southern New Orleans woman you would ever meet in your life.
That's one of my favorite people in the world to be around. Because they can out cook you and out swear you and out Bible you all at the same time. The people are amazing.
She could do all of it.
Exactly. All right. So what happened? So that you're talking. You have experienced and seen. Can I? How whole are you right now? Can I be pretty specific for our listening audience? I don't want to melt you here on this call, but I want them to have some sort of picture about what you've experienced.
I have 2 grown kids. I have a 7-month-old grandbaby. I am working 90 hours a week, feels like, trying to be out of debt and change my generational trauma. So I'm not working. I am trying to be working. Like, I am burying myself and working, because if I'm not working, my mind goes, I don't deserve.
Okay. You don't deserve this beautiful, healthy grandbaby. You don't deserve 2 grown kids that have turned into relatively all right adults. Are they relatively all right adults?
They are wonderful adults. I have one that graduated 2 years early. I have another one that graduated with honors. I don't know as a single mom how I ended up having 2 amazing kids.
I'll tell you. You want to hear it?
Sure.
What's one of my core principles on this show? I will never lie to you. I'll tell you exactly how 2 amazing kids made their way into the world and grew into 2 amazing functional adults. Because they had a gangster of a mom. And that doesn't mean that mom didn't need somebody to grab her by the hair and keep her alive for 3 days as she held her baby boy as he bled out right in front of her. That doesn't mean you didn't need help along the way. And that doesn't mean you got real lucky sometimes. But it does mean that they had a mama that changed their family tree.
I'm definitely trying.
No, honey. You clawed through concrete to create a new path for those kids, and you did. Here's the ugly thing about survivor's guilt. Tell me if I'm onto something, okay? There's usually, I call it the haunting. There's a couple of things that haunt people with survivor's guilt. The first thing is, I should have or I could have. Should have gone back for brother and sister. I could have gone back and done this if I had just done this or if I had just done that. Is that there?
Every day.
Okay, that's number 1. It is absolutely stone not true. Okay? You have escaped a nuclear reaction, and the temptation is to go make yourself into the hero that could have walked through radiation and all of the blast fallout to rescue people, and that's simply you couldn't have done it. It's not true. That's number 1. Number 2, you're haunted by being on the outside of your tribe. And this sounds crazy to people who hear your story, and they're like, you have an ACEs score of freaking 10? Like, that means you literally lived in hell. And every loved one you have around you has died. And it doesn't make sense, but you left your tribe in order to survive. And there's a part of you that says, but those are my people. Fair?
Definitely fair.
People like us don't sleep through the night and hold healthy grandbabies. People like us don't work 90 hours a week. We just get checks in the mail. People like us have to steal the last 2.5 weeks of the month because we smoked the other half, or we snorted the other half, or we pilled out the other half. Fair?
Very fair.
So sometimes survivor's guilt is a proxy pain for disconnection from what feels like our roots. Because those kind of people are the ones that have healthy families. We are the kind that burn this thing to the ground. And the third one, the haunting, is the question that is the worst one, I think, because it has no answer. And that is, why me? Like, how in the hell did I get out? Why did I get picked? Why did I got to carry all this stuff?
Absolutely. And why does every day feel like I have to fight for it?
Mm-hmm. So let me paint you a different picture with that question, why me? I understand that question intellectually, and I understand that question in my soul. But I have to be honest, and I got to own reality that there is not an answer to that question that I'll have on this side of being alive. If my faith beliefs are right, maybe I'll get an answer to that on the other side, but I ain't going to get that here. The question that's more important is, What am I going to do now? What am I going to do with this gift? I don't know why I got it. I don't even want it, and it's hard to carry. It's real, real heavy, because inside this gift also is the haunting of my brother and my sister and my baby boy and my mom, even my dad. And my dad was evil, but even my dad. They're all in this thing, and this sucker's heavy to carry around, right? You still there?
I am.
Okay.
It's heavy. It's every day I have to choose happiness. And some days it's harder than others.
I got you.
And then when I come up on birthdays or anniversaries, or that's when it's hardest.
Mm-hmm.
Because how come I get to have a birthday and they don't?
Yeah. So can I give you permission just to be real sad on those days?
Yeah.
Here's what I'd love for you to do. I'd love for you to write them a birthday card and read it to them on every birthday and every anniversary. Or write them a letter about all the cool stuff they're missing. And let them know how much you miss them. And let them know how pissed off you are that they're not here. Let them know all of it. How cool this little grandbaby is. If you feel that sense of guilt and that sense of sadness and sense of brokenheartedness that they're not with you, they didn't get out to, and you run from it, that fire will eventually overtake you too. But if you will turn and walk directly back through that fire, you're going to find out it's not burning anymore. And you're going to find out the ghosts of your brothers and your sisters and your baby are still there. And you can write them letters. And you can tell them I miss you. And you can tell them I'm living my best damn life for you. And what you're going to find is, in 5 years, in 7 years, you're going to accidentally forget one of those birthdays. Not because you're bad. Not because you have no character and you can't believe you forgot. But because your body has finally let them go. They can finally go rest. Because right now you're dragging them around, right?
Every day.
Yeah. It's time for them to go. It's time for them to go. And I know that's not an easy thing. It's going to take some time. But I do think it's worth your time writing them a letter. And every time your son's birthday comes around, you let your family know, Mama's going to be sad today. I'm not going to do anything destructive. I'm not going to hurt myself. I'm not going to use again. But I am going to write my son a letter. I'm going to take myself out to some sort of meal by myself. Or I'm going to throw a party. I'm going to do whatever you want to do. That little boy's going to be a part of you for the rest of your life. But we got to stop. We got to stop asking the why me question, and we got to start asking with a smile on our face and some adventure in our heart. What am I going to do now? How am I going to live the funnest, most adventurous, most beautiful, reckless, generous life I can because they didn't get to?
That makes sense.
Instead of it being something that weighs you down, it becomes jet fuel in what comes next. How old are you?
I am 44.
You're a 44-year-old grandma. Good gravy. Kendra, you're not even halfway done yet.
Yeah.
The Kendra party's just getting going. Have you gone to see a counselor?
Not recently. I've been in and out of counseling for the last 20 years.
Are you done with it?
With counseling? No.
Okay.
I just put it on pause because I'm trying to pay off my house because nobody in 4 generations has ever owned a house.
How close are you?
$38,000.
Until your house is paid off?
So my house is paid off. I will be
Holy
completely debt-free and
smokes.
$38,000.
How long is that going to take you? I know you already have that date circled on your calendar. How close are you?
3 years and 2 days. If I don't die of exhaustion between now and then.
I can't describe to you how amazing you are. And I know that doesn't make you feel better, and that doesn't take away what happened to you and your little girl, and that doesn't take away your lost baby boy and those images in your mind. I know. But there's that great Terry Real quote that I just love, which is that family trauma rolls downhill like a forest fire, generation to generation, until one brave soul turns and stares it down and says, "This stops with me." And it brings peace and laughter and joy to great grandkids that you will never meet. It also means that the person that stops and stares down a roaring forest fire gets burned and scarred along the way. And that's the position you've chosen. And generations will tell the story of Grandma Kendra, because she said no more. She said no more. The healing path out, if you were my sister, or if you were like sitting down having dinner with me, here's what I would tell you. You got to systematically start writing these folks letters that you lost and let them know how you're doing. And it's different than praying it out or just speaking it out when you're mumbling around the house or when you're outside in the backyard having a cigarette. You got to be able to write it down and get it out of your body. Okay. Even if you don't spell well, if your handwriting's off, I don't care any of that stuff. But I want you to get a nice notebook and write it down. And the next birthday that comes up of somebody that you've lost, I want you to go to the store and buy a birthday card. Spend the $4 on it. I know you're trying to pay off debt. Do it anyway. Spend the money on it. And I want you to have some sort of private ceremony for them. Okay. And then the last thing is you got to get on the phone there in San Antonio. And I know there's some incredible providers there in the state of Texas because I know them personally. And I want you to get on and go find a trauma counselor in your area and say, I'm ready to fully set this childhood down. Set it down. And they might get with a medical provider because you might need the ACEs stuff. There's medical complications that come with an ACEs score of a 10 just over a lifetime. Heart issues and blood pressure, all that kind of stuff. So I think sitting down with a doctor and saying, hey, I'm going to slow down my, maybe this is a good example. So if you're watching NASCAR and they're hammering it on that straightaway and they're going 250 miles an hour, however fast they go, I don't know how fast they go, and they start to make a turn, they have to slow down to make that turn so that they can stay in the race and get to the next straightaway and hammer it again. I want you to think of the next couple of months going to see a doctor, going to see a trauma counselor. It's going to cost you money. You're going to have to slow down. You may have to miss a couple of shifts, and it's going to slow down your progress. What you're doing is making a turn, because if you just keep going this hard, in 3 years, you're going to have a paid-for house, and you're going to be dead on the front porch. And I don't want that for you. I want you to pay this house off. You're going to be 50 years old, and you're going to have the house paid off, and I want you sitting on that front porch being a crazy Grandma Kendra to those grandkids. And letting your grown kids go have hot dates with their husbands and wives or whatever's going on in your world. But I want you to slow down for just a minute and make that turn. You're going to find out that when you make that turn and you get healthy, both emotionally and psychologically and physically, it's going to make those straightaways even faster than you can imagine. It's going to feel like you're slowing down and you're stopping, but it's not. It's just re-gearing. Okay? It's just making the turn. It's being smart and being safe so that you can hit it on the way out. I talk to a lot of brave people. It's my job. I talk to a lot of courageous people. A lot of people are making some turns. And you, my friend Kendra, are at the very, very, very top of that list. I'm so, so proud of you. If I can help you in any way, holler at me, okay? I'll be with you every step of the way. And when you pay that house off, you're giving us a call back because you're going to do that debt-free scream, and you're going to hear me cheering all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. Thank you, love.